Happy Valentine's Day. We're making one of the most sexiest desserts that you could possibly make and eat on any occasion actually, but specifically for Valentine's Day. Let's go. L is for the way you look at me. O is for the only one I see. V is very, very extraordinary. E is even more than anyone that you adore and love. Hi ninjas and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are making creme brulee for one, but the principles of creme brulee kind of say the same whether you're making it for one or you're making it for 2, 3, 4. Today's recipe can arguably be for 2 people. Whether you celebrate Valentine's Day or not, this is a phenomenal dessert to learn how to make, regardless, okay? Whether you believe it's capitalism or not, this is the recipe that you need to have in your repertoire. I say that a lot, but I do a lot of classic recipes as well, because I think it's important that you understand the basics and the foundations, because from here is where you can grow. I don't know why I started shouting about it, but you get my point. I'm very passionate about creme brulee. This recipe is so simple to prepare. All we need is eggs, heavy cream, vanilla of some sort, salt and sugar. I have added a little bit of brandy because I absolutely love the flavor of brandy and vanilla. But you can totally leave it out. You could do a little bit of rum. You could do a little bit of coconut liqueur because that's also really yummy. Or you could do almond liqueur like amaretto and it's yum. But you can just don't add it. If baking in a water bath daunts you, this recipe is going to completely dissolve any of those doubts. The beauty about a water bath is that it keeps the temperature even and it also allows the heat to circulate very gently when you're baking things like egg custards. We do not want to shock our egg custard with a very high temperature because what that's going to do is completely curdle it or split it, and nobody wants a split creme brulee. Nobody wants a creme brulee that's not nice. Do you want a creme brulee that's not nice? I don't want a nice creme brulee. Nobody wants a non-nice creme brulee. We want a creme brulee that's smooth, creamy, velvety. It has to be absolutely rich and indulgent, so delicious. The top must have a crack. It is creme brulee rule number 1. It must have a crack, and then when you go into it, it must be smooth and silky and just melts away. There are a few tips and tricks. There are a few tips and tricks that you must keep in mind when you're making creme brulee, or usually when you're making a baked custard like this. You always want to bake it at a lower temperature. Most often than not, you bake your cakes and you bake your cookies, they would be at 180, but this recipe asks for you to bake it at 150 degrees. You do not want to bake it at a very high temperature because that's going to completely curdle the eggs, and you always want to bake it in a water bath. The trick is to not over mix it because we are not adding air into the mixture. If we add too many air bubbles, that's completely going to ruin the texture while it bakes. These baked custards always, most often than not, need to be chilled before you serve them. If you're making a creme caramel, that's the same thing you would do as well. I've got a delicious creme caramel recipe and that is such a winner. I've got a lot of details on that blog. Check it out just in case you want to know more about egg custards and water baths and how it works. But this recipe is as simple as it's gonna get. I have simplified it down to the T, which means you're not gonna be able to mess this one up. It is really easy to prepare and very simple to put together. Not a lot of ingredients, not a lot of effort, and definitely not a lot of time. A fantastic make ahead dessert as well. Bake it today, serve it tomorrow, brulee it whenever you like, or if you don't want to brulee it as well, serve it like a baked custard, but then it's not a creme brulee. Yeah, just keep that in mind. I don't think I need to add any more sales points into this for you to buy into how good it is. I'm just going to show you how good it is by making it. So let's make this recipe. You really can't make up that wobble or that crack. It is absolutely delicious. So we start off the recipe by warming our heavy cream with our vanilla extract I have used, but ideally you want to use the best quality vanilla you can get your hands on. We then want to separate our egg yolks from our egg whites. Save the egg whites for an omelette later. Into the bowl with our egg yolks, we add our sugar. I have added brown sugar and a little bit of castor sugar. I had a lot of lumps in my castor sugar, so I had had to really beat it well, but you do not want to overmix. Once you see it's smooth and combined, you want to add your salt, and once your cream has come to a little bit of a bubble, you can see that there are bubbles on the top of the surface. That's when it's done. You now want to very slowly add this into your egg yolk mixture. But the easiest way to do that is to place a wooden coaster or a cloth at the bottom of the bowl so that it doesn't move while you whisk it. This really helps keep it in place. Once you've added all your cream, you want to scrape it down really nicely because your vanilla seeds most often than not are at the bottom of the pot. I have added a little bit of brandy at this stage. Now let's get ready to bake. In a large tray, I've added a very deep pan, and in that pan I've added the actual dish I'm going to bake it in. I've poured my custard through a sieve just to make sure that there are no bubbles or any lumps in it. We now want to pour hot water into the dish, and we want to bake this in the oven at 150 degrees Celsius. You know it's ready when there is a wobble when you shake it. So I like to chill this down in the fridge for at least 2 hours before we can torch the top. Now we want to sprinkle a layer of the castor sugar on top, and we want to torch it. I have used a blowtorch here, but if you don't have one, you can just put this in the oven with the top griller or broiler on the highest setting. We only want the sugar to caramelize. We do not want to cook this custard any further. So it's just the top layer that's getting cooked. You can see how beautiful the color gets once it caramelizes. But here's the trick. I do 2 layers of caramel for that extra crunch. So once you've done the first layer, go ahead with more sugar and brulee it even further. Now, a moment of silence for the crack. Now it's time to dig in. I mean, would you look at that? This is absolutely perfect. All that is great, but proof lies in the pudding. So, can you see that? I mean, she's so creamy. I want you to hear the crack. And if you think I'm hitting the vessel, that's the vessel. This is crème brûlée. Vessel, crème brûlée. But I want to show you. We're gonna go in. I mean, what? It's rich, it's creamy, it's indulgent. Honestly, this is such an easy way to make such a sophisticated and elegant dessert. I mean, you could bake it in individual ramekins and that's fine, but I think there's something so romantic about sharing it in one dish, and especially when you're going to be serving it for 2 people and it is whatever, so you might as well, you know. This crème brûlée did not come to mess around. Nope, this one did not come to mess around. It was like, not today, Satan, not today. If you like this video, you know what you're supposed to do. Please like it, comment on it, go to the blog and check it out. Drop your comments below on what you would like me to make, or what kind of recipes you're looking for. Also, if you haven't already, do subscribe to my YouTube channel. Until next time, all I can say is, why did I do the ninja out? Switching it off now.